Our new stimulus check's actually on the way. You're seeing the headlines, you're hearing the chatter, but what does it really mean for you and your family? There's a new bill in Washington called the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025. This is a brand new idea to take money the government collects from tariffs and send it right back to you. Now, this is not a White House plan. It was introduced in the Senate by Senator Josh Hawley after President Trump floated the idea. I've gone through the entire proposal, and I'm going to break down what it actually says, who could get a check, how much you might get, and when. This is the real story, without the hype. Let me know in the comments what a few extra $100 would mean for your family this year. I read every single one. All right, let's get right into it. What is this proposal? It's called the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025, and it's a totally different way of thinking about stimulus. Unlike the payments we saw a few years ago, this money wouldn't come from government borrowing. Instead, it would be funded by tariffs. Here's the basic idea. The U.S. has been applying tariffs, think of them as fees, on goods imported from other countries. Those fees bring in a ton of revenue for the government. The official text of the bill says the goal is to use that revenue to provide relief for working people through immediate tax rebates. So instead of that money getting absorbed into the federal budget, this act would recycle a portion of it. It would take tariff revenue collected after January 20th, 2025, and send it directly to American households. The idea, which President Trump has voiced support for, is that working Americans should get a direct benefit from this trade policy. It's being sold not as a handout, but as a rebate, your cut of the money coming into the country. The goal is to put cash into the pockets of middle-income families and, as part of a larger strategy, encourage more manufacturing here at home by making imported goods more expensive. This is the big question. Am I going to get a check? Let's break down who would be eligible based on the proposal. The American Worker Rebate Act is aimed at low and middle-income households, which means there are income limits. Now, the bill itself doesn't give specific dollar amounts for those limits. However, it's designed to be similar to past stimulus rounds. So many are looking at those for clues. Based on that, projections suggest the phase-outs could start around an adjusted gross income, AGI, of $95,000 for a single person, $150,000 for married couples, and $112,500 for a head of household. If your income is above those levels, your payment would likely be reduced, not necessarily eliminated. And let me be crystal clear on this because I get this question all the time. The bill is written to be broad. This means it intends to include people living on Social Security, those receiving disability like SSDI or SSI, and veterans on VA benefits. Self-employed people, gig workers, and small business owners are also meant to be included. The plan is to use the info the IRS already has. For folks who don't usually file taxes, like many retirees, the goal is for the IRS to use data from the Social Security Administration and other agencies to get you your payment automatically. Who is left out? The bill is pretty standard here. The two main groups excluded are non-resident aliens and anyone who is claimed as a dependent on someone else's tax return. So, if you're a college student and your parents still claim you, they would get the dependent payment for you, but you wouldn't get your own separate check. The starting point in the bill is $600 per eligible adult and $600 per eligible dependent child. So a single person would get $600. A married couple with no kids would get $200. A family of four would be looking at a $2,400 payment. But here's where it gets interesting. The bill sets $600 as a floor, not a ceiling. It allows the payment to get bigger if the money collected from tariffs is higher than what analysts are currently projecting. Some government projections estimate tariff revenue could be over $150 billion in 2025 alone. If that happens, the $600 figure could climb. President Trump himself has floated numbers as high as $1,000 or even $2,000 per person. So, for that same family of four, if the tariff revenue is strong enough to boost the payment to $800 per person, they'd get $3,200 instead. That's a significant chunk of change. The whole idea is to link the rebate you get directly to the country's trade policy. If you're finding this breakdown helpful, do me a quick favor and hit that like button and subscribe. It's free, it takes a second, and it guarantees you won't miss any critical updates on this. I'm tracking this every single day, so you don't have to. Okay, we know the what, who, and how much. The next logical question is when. When could you actually see this money? This is where we have to be realistic. Right now, the American Worker Rebate Act of 2025 is just a proposal. It has been introduced in the Senate, but it hasn't gone anywhere yet. It has to pass both the Senate and the House before the president can sign it into law, and that process is all about political negotiation. However, the bill is written to move fast if it passes. The rebates are tied to tariffs collected after January 20th, 2025. Because the IRS would use 2024 tax info that it will already have, the system to send payments is pretty much ready to go. If we learned anything from the last few years, it's that once a bill passes, the IRS can get money out the door incredibly fast, especially with direct deposit. The first payments could potentially go out within weeks of the bill becoming law. The legislation gives the Treasury a final deadline of December 31st, 2026 to send all the money, but the real push would be to get it out much sooner, likely in early to mid-2025. So the bottom line is, don't expect it tomorrow, but if it passes, things could move quickly. Assuming the bill gets passed, how would you get the money? The plan is to make it as automatic as possible using systems the IRS already has in place. The number one method will be direct deposit. If the IRS has your bank account information from your 2024 tax return or from federal benefits, that's where the money will go. It's the fastest and safest way. If you don't have direct deposit set up, you would get a paper check or a debit card in the mail to your last known address. One important detail. The IRS is required to send you a paper letter within 15 days of sending your payment. This letter will confirm the amount and how it was sent. This is a key security step to help you spot fraud and keep for your records. If you get a payment, you should get a letter. Whenever there's talk about government money, the scammers crawl out of the woodwork. So please listen up. This is critical. The IRS will never call, text, email, or send you a social media message asking for your personal info or a fee to get your rebate. I'll say it again. Never. You don't have to pay anything. You don't need to give out your social security number in a text. If you qualify, the process is designed to be automatic. Any message you get like that is a scam. Don't click any links. Don't reply. Just delete it. The only official place to go for information is the IRS website at irs.gov. Scammers prey on excitement and confusion to steal your money and identity. Be skeptical, be safe, and please share this warning with your friends and family. I'll be following this every step of the way. To get the latest facts as they come out, make sure you're subscribed with notifications turned on. Things move fast in Washington, and my job is to bring you the truth. Thanks for your time and for your trust.